Tapi pertimbangkan juga gimana caranya biar tetap menutup hero-hero yang memang berpotensi untuk leading dari early game. Karena tim Vitality kita tahu sendiri, kalau udah ngomongin gold lead, mereka selalu cerdik. Aku nggak bilang pintar, tapi cerdik. Karena kalau cerdik tuh kayak segala cara dicari biar tetap bisa dapetin advantage tersebut.
Ini cukup menarik sih kalau kita ngomongin Ramichi juga ya.
Yes.
Yang nambahin dia juga sebenarnya dulunya bermain di tim Vietnam loh.
Iya, di Vietnam.
Itu loh, itu yang sebenarnya mungkin cukup menarik. Dia datang jadi key player dan again ini international debutnya tim Liquid.
Iya, international debut ya yang
Udah top 4.
sangat-sangat mengerikan sebenarnya karena berpotensi memang untuk masuk ke babak Grand Final. Tapi untuk match kali ini masih belum bisa kita lihat apa yang akan terjadi karena semuanya akan dibuktikan di stage utama. Jadi tempat yang menjadi saksi lah ya, saksi bisu apa yang akan terjadi dan terlihat dari kedua belah tim memang sudah mulai bersiap-siap segera mendekat ke babak drafting phase. Adakah hero yang akan sangat diperebutkan kalau ngelihat dua tim ini?
Badang.
Masih di Badang ya?
Aku tetap di
Badang
Badang,
Arlot
sih, Badang Arlot, Lancelot.
Badang Arlot aku. Itu dia.
Ya Lancelot,
Lancelot ya?
Lancelot.
Oke.
Aku ganti Lancelot.
Apa nih yang ngebedain kalau misalnya dari Goni sendiri Badang? Semahal itukah untuk tim Liquid? Karena kalau di Vitality kan kita udah ngeliat emang 4 kali pick,
Ya.
100% win rate dan lain. Tapi kalau untuk tim Liquid, sepower itu?
Kenapa mahal? Karena Badang salah satu bentuk deny juga. Jadi ini salah satu bentuk deny di mana ini 4 kali dari berapa? 6 berarti tim Vitality menang.
Iya.
4 kali Badang di pick dari 6 ini 100% harus dicatat dan ya gimana nih kalau kita nggak mau nge-ban, mending kita pick up. Karena sebenarnya crowd control, rotasi, lengkap lah bisa
Tebel
dibilang.
juga.
Tinggal diasah lagi. Jadi menurut aku pick or ban lah bisa dibilang.
Ya, aku kira gue nih bakal bilang Badang mahal karena 32.000 battle point ya.
Enggak beda.
Complexity hero-nya kuat banget.
Itu
Benar juga.
harganya.
Paket lengkap, dia ada shield, dia ada
Iya.
efek stun.
Ide yang bagus sih itu.
Iya, dia ada tembok yang bisa dibikin tiba-tiba. Itu yang mungkin agak sedikit menjengkelkan untuk beberapa hero jalan kaki.
Iya.
Termasuk mungkin kayak contohnya Barats. Barats kan lumayan kesulitan kalau lawan Badang. Karena dia bakal kena efek stun terus-terusan dan dia nggak bisa escape dari tembok tersebut. Jadi mungkin ada beberapa pertimbangan kayaknya tim Liquid bakal nge-delete untuk Badang.
Ya.
Meanwhile di sisi lain tim Vitality mungkin bisa mempertimbangkan hero-hero kayak Lancelot atau Granger.
Oke.
Oke.
Yang dari kemarin bener-bener carry banget nih di tim Liquid.
Lancelot atau Granger ya? Kalau Granger kita sempat ngeliat dibawain sama Chal juga kan pastinya.
Iya.
Dan memang sangat mengerikan dengan Sky Pierce Power ya yang ada di dalam tubuh dari seorang Granger sendiri. Tapi sekarang kalau kita ngomongin tadi sempat ada Lancelot ya yang dilontarkan sama Profesor KB. Dibandingkan dengan hero-hero seperti Hayabusa,
Iya.
masih
Iya,
Lancelot
serius.
utama.
Aku udah ngerasain bedanya. Lancelot buff sekarang itu bener-bener powerful banget.
Kalau Yisunshin?
Tetap hero beresiko kalau di ladies. Mungkin
oke.
kalau ini pertanyaannya di MSC IWC,
iya.
Bisa
aku
berbeda.
bakal jawab Yishunshin. Karena ya mau bagaimanapun Yishunshin emang se-powerful itu. Dan exactly Badang yang bakal ditutup. Karena 100% win rate ini angka yang sangat-sangat signifikan. Karena kita tahu sendiri ini angka yang sangat-sangat signifikan dan bukan dari tim-tim lain. Ini adalah bukan dari tim-tim lain.
Berarti
Ini adalah
dari tim Liquid mereka nggak
Vitality.
prepare untuk dari tim Liquid mereka nggak sendiri jawabannya ternyata gameplay Badang tersendiri jawabannya ternyata
First
di-ban
pick
aja.
impactnya seperti apa. Nggak cuman secara global presence, tapi efek knockbacknya mungkin bakal ngeganggu. Terutama karena obvious dan ya ada 2 hero lagi nih yang bakal diambil sama tim Liquid nantinya. So, harus mulai dieliminasi. Dari arah gold lane lagi kah?
Let's go.
Let's go. It's
Your
out.
team is banning.
Oke.
Cloud berarti bener.
Bisa Cloud, bisa one-one.
Oh,
Kayak Vitality bener-bener ngebuka banyak potensi dan bikin overthinking tim Liquidnya.
Cloud one-one ya. Oke, tapi kalau misalnya dari arah yang lain nih ya, kita ngomongin Akai. Akainya masih fleksibel kah atau udah dipastikan?
Sebenarnya masih bisa fleksibel dan itu
Ya.
bergantung kepada 2 pick terakhir nanti dari tim Liquid. Karena kalau misalkan Baxia-nya ternyata tertuju ke area jungle ya kenapa tidak menggunakan Akainya tetap di area jungle juga, diadu sama Arlot juga.
itu
Masih
yang-
fine.
itulah picknya kenapa di atas juga ya. Maksudnya masih nunggu dulu juga dan Cici ya. Wah.
Cloud. Ini Cloud potensial banget keluar. Dari Vitality. Mereka udah menutup potensi dari Harit. Udah nggak ada
range dan poking ini.
wow.
Kimi dari jauh range. Jadi magic fisik dari jauh ada. CC ada, badan
Iya.
ada.
Wow.
Oke.
Tapi pemain cepat jadi signature Vitality di tahun ini sih. Selalu cepat dan untuk tim Liquid ngejawab hadirnya range kayak gini.
Tim Liquid ya mengambil Zetian sebagai mid lane udah oke.
Oke.
Tinggal gimana
Range kayak gini.
yang lain gold lane-nya kayak udah ketutup detail terutama. Bruno ternyata.
Skyping.
Oke dan Link di flex.
Baxianya di flex.
Oh, linknya keluar loh dari di top 4 ini.
Tapi oke nggak komposisinya dengan link yang diambil di sini?
Oke, karena
Masuk
gold
akal.
lane-nya early game ya.
Lawan Kimi, lawan Granger masuk sebenarnya.
Masuk banget, masuk banget. Dan menurutku ini Akainya tetap bisa flex, bisa last pick-nya mungkin menuju ke arah fighter atau tetap di Akai jungle, tapi ya early pressure-nya tetap harus menangin nih. Karena lawannya adalah Link.
Nah,
Ya nanti di menit-menit 15, menit-menit 16 sampai dengan 18, dia akan leluasa sekali menjadi eksekutor.
Tapi
Export
terlihat-
kah? Export XP gitu.
Wah,
Karena export lumayan bisa ngebonyokin Baxia nanti ketika sudah mulai masuk mid game dan ketika nggak punya frontline, Bruno, Link ini nggak bisa leluasa untuk bisa engage ke belakang.
di flex benar berarti.
Di flex ternyata ya.
Assassin lawan assassin.
Oke, kita bakal melihat lagi-lagi ya adu assassin antara tim Liquid versus Vitality dan masuk ke babak semifinal yang kedua akan kita saksikan bersama casters kita. Ada Ranger Mas dan juga Aul.
Oke, terima kasih banyak Devin,
Taye.
Profesor KB dan juga Johnny. Tapi ini dia perwakilan Indonesia. Masih ada satu tim yang akan menuju ke arah Grand Final. Mampukah mereka mewujudkan harapan kita untuk merebut kembali MWI di tahun ini?
Nah, kita akan melihat ya. Ini satu perwakilan dari Filipina yang berbeda ya. Yang biasa kita ngelihat smart.
Sobat Mobile Legends Indonesia, dimanapun kalian berada, ramaikan kolom komentar dan juga kita support tim Vitality untuk menuju Grand Final.
Let's go.
Bersama dengan Ranger Mas dan juga Aul di semifinal kedua hari ini.
Betul ya, bukan lu.
Iya, maaf Lung. Sorry ya Lung.
Salah. Tapi ya combo yang memang lumayan lama juga kita lihat ya. Trigger dari Akai akan memudahkan vengeance dari Arlotnya juga. Tapi ya fleksibel kalau kita kemarin ngelihat banyak banget Akai dipakainya sama Cell sama Vival. Tapi sekarang sudah akan ada di tangan Vivian. Beda lagi nih. Sangat iya fleksibel. Kalau pool hero banyak mah bebas.
Iya. Gold Lane sebenarnya bukan tanpa alasan. Karena sepertinya mereka untuk melakukan kontes turtle ini kayaknya nggak mungkin. Ada baiknya dapetin keuntungan yang udah melebihi dari turtle itu tersebut, yaitu Gold Laner.
Dan selain itu juga mereka tahu nih Chell ini akan menjadi the carry gitu loh.
Tadi tuh sempat ada satu turnamen yang udah selesai matchnya, jadi pada
Tidak.
keluar terus pada nonton Vitality gitu.
Itu boosting banget tentunya ya. Kayak
Parah.
tadi ada statement kan dari Nicolette bilang katanya itu nambahin semangat banget suara-suara dari fans.
Of course, itu bikin mereka jadi bersemangat makin lebih lagi bisa mendapatkan kemenangan di dalam game mereka. Tapi Chell dengan konsistensi permainan dia di arah gold lane bahkan sampai menjadi target utama. Nah sekarang kita akan coba bicarakan gimana game ini untuk bawa ke arah mid to the late game. Karena jujur, mid to the late game tim Liquid ini sangat kuat.
Sangat-sangat ya. Apalagi damage konstan dari Kla juga nanti akan jadi PR dan
Oh my god! Vivian, one hit langsung dapat the magic illusion. Berhasil mendapatkan 2 point kill di arah top lane untuk para pasukan tim Vitality. Menandakan mereka membalikkan kembali keadaan, dan itu dia teriakan para super fans dari Vitality. Menggetarkan Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
ada Eci juga ternyata rame ya. Dan Purify yang dibawa oleh Kla ini sangat ternyata belum membantu ya gimana sergapan yang dilakukan. Tapi Ramichi mencoba untuk mempertahankan top turretnya dan instant replay di sini. Memang ada Purify tapi sepertinya tidak cukup karena sliding tackle-nya nggak ada. Dan akhirnya juga dikejar sama Viva. Dan akhirnya Kla menghilang dan ada full plating yang bisa didapatkan oleh pemain-pemain dari tim Vitality di arah top lane.
Yes, tapi lihat posisi dari tim Vitality. Kali ini mereka coba untuk regroup karena mereka udah sadar. Ngomongin kalau Ramichi yang tadi gagal untuk mendapatkan turtle yang pertama, Ramichi sekarang nggak bisa ngambil keuntungan itu. Dia nggak bisa tukar ke arah gold lane lagi. Jadi mau nggak mau, dia akan memberanikan diri untuk melakukan kontes walaupun akan di depan mata.
Oke. Ternyata bukan cuma sekedar full plating ya, turretnya juga hancur loh di bawah menit 5. Ini menandakan bahwa upaya ganking yang dilakukan sama tim Liquid ke arah gold lane memang berhasil di awal, tapi itu tidak menjadi sebuah jaminan kalau mereka benar-benar bisa nge-shutdown gold lane-nya.
Oke, final slash for nothing, Fumieko. Berhasil di take over oleh Vitality. Membuat para pasukan dari tim Liquid harus kehilangan 2 point kill dan juga turtle. Kerugian yang melimpah. Rugi benar.
Sangat ya, apalagi kita tahu bagaimana Povius ketemu Granger Kimi nih PR.
Dan lihat final slash-nya juga on point. Fumieko di ujung final slash-nya. Dia ngebuat sosok Zaisi bahkan nggak bisa menggunakan flicker defensif.
Iya, ini kena traction pulse juga tadi bala bantuan yang ngasih efek slow dan ini dia instant replay-nya. Bro, memang sudah ya, heavy spin ini ngebuat Ramichi sangat-sangat dalam keadaan yang sulit. Again, Povius adalah satu hero yang one way ticket, sekalinya udah masuk. Untuk pulangnya ini susah banget. Dan kita tahu kalau misalkan memang kena damage terus-terusan bahu-membahu dari sisterhood kita nih, Chini dan Chell, ya udah Daiki bakal menjadi send baik aja.
Yes, aku setuju banget. Bahkan kalau ngomongin Daiki jadi sandbag, apa dikata Soju? Udah bukan sandbag lagi, dia masuk ke dalam untuk tumbal.
Untuk ini digebukin ya.
Untuk digebukin. Dan ngomongin memang dari seorang Baxia bisa menahan damage dari Granger dan juga Kimi. Yes, dia bisa nge-reduce damage-nya. Tapi kalau owning
But those waves still will be crashing in favor of Team Vitality on the top lane. And that's yet another push.
Oh. She has to get away. Escapes the traction pulse. The shield's already going to pop, though. No holy defense on the top turret. So that's early. 7 minutes in. Team Vitality will get that down. This is just a showcase of how much control they actually have in this portion of the game. And they do this all until this Lord comes up. Once that Lord comes up, they have quite a bit of control to deal with, and most likely a decisive team fight for them. Well, Team Liquid's lineup needs a little bit more time to get online here. I'm just not sure if they're going to get it.
Oh, that was very close. That was a lot of damage already on to Zaishi. Gonna force her to recall, but yes, going back to the point of both of these teams, this is the problem with the Bruno, right? You're really great early game, but now the mid game kind of dips for the Bruno. Yeah. So somehow TL will have to find a way to withstand all this aggression here in the mid game to get to that late game Bruno that really just goes in for that crit build. Daiki forced in the flicker. Should be okay at this point, but I gotta say, Team Vitality are not letting TL breathe one bit, and that's the plan Z that I was talking about.
The plans. Why is it plan Z?
Because it's like the last thing you want for a lane.
Ah, the split push is the last opportunity basically that you have. I mean, anytime you have a Ling, that's true. We see this quite often, and like I said, you're gonna see your buff just kind of take it from you. So Ramichi's gonna be left in the situation where Lings don't want to be. You're gonna be purpleless, right? You want the purple buff as much as possible. So she's left to make a decision of where should I push? Should I push on the opposite of the map? Should I get some of these turrets down? Because they don't have any. I mean, if we look at this exactly on the macro level, they have nothing for TLPH, and that's a really tough position to be in, because itemization-wise too, you're outgunned, out-defensed, out-offensed, everything. And so you're gonna be in a tough position on this base defense, as a Lord will eventually make its way up the top. Team Vitality has done work on the shields. That's where that, that little bit of a push earlier on is going to pay its part, because they don't have to worry about the shields now. So they'll play this, and every single time we have a Arlot in the field in the land of Dawn, you got to watch out for the pressure. I mean, the final slash flicker combo, even in your base, doesn't feel safe at all. So the top turret worked on before the Lord even gets to it. And they're going to go ahead and make their mark here. We'll see if TLPH can dig down deep, nearly the 10-minute mark. They're going to have to pull out a miracle of attempts. Traction pulse goes through.
Okay, that's a damage onto Daiki. Daiki's going to fall here, but Fumi Echo gets taken down as well. That's a heavy spin from Vivian. And Ramichi is the next one to fall. A 2-for-1 trade so far. The flicker burns in as well, but Vival is going to be able to take Soju down too. The turret in the mid lane is going to be targeted. Zaishi gets caught low, but will it be enough for them to clear out these minions? Vival goes in very aggressively into the back line, but Vival will be the one taken down. But look at the base. The base is going to be the target. Shell and Cine still on it. This is a 3v2, and it looks like TL will still lengthen their life here in game number 1.
Wow,
a successful defense from the Filipino team.
Wow. I am surprised that that wasn't an end, because I think Team Vitality thought it was going to be as well. They had to like readjust themselves in the chairs after that. For Team Liquid to defend, I mean, I'm surprised they were able to pull off. Great that they did, but what does that actually buy them? They lost all the base turrets. Amici has to get out of here. She's still planning to go with Plan Z throughout this game, but nonetheless, you're still massively behind. 7,000 gold behind, no turrets to work with. So what does that mean? Essentially, it's really difficult to move around the map.
The problem is Ramichi is a little bit behind, right? Is she 2-3 levels behind of the Lancelot right now?
Yeah, she's
2 levels. So even if they want to look for a neutral objective contest, they can't play that 50-50. They need to figure out a way to utilize their tools to shut the Lancelot down, but look at the composition that they brought in. It's not going to be as simple.
I think part of this is why she's everywhere right now. And, you know, Team Vitality's doing a great job at kind of controlling Ramichi on what she can really do cross map. But ultimately, this is just another Lord. When you're this far ahead, this Lord is yours for free. There's nothing you really have to do as Team Vitality secures that Lord. And we'll see if Team Liquid Philippines can do it again. Can they make a base defense work? Claw's had some time. She's had an extra couple minutes to build up, but even looking at the items, I don't know if it's enough. Maybe the Malefic gun that she recently picked up will help a little bit with her positioning, but ultimately I think still you have to watch out for that final slash from Fumi Echo, from the initiation, even from Vivian. And the hardest part about that is the range advantage that Team Vitality has, because Shell's just been popping off from the backside with those Death Sonatas. Lord will make its way into the base. Team Liquid on the defense.
Oh, Daiki again. That's a final slash on the Fumi Echo. But there it is. Daiki gonna look for something, but she gets taken down. Uh-oh, Soju gonna be the next one to fall here as 3 members are on her. As we look into the base, Team Vitality are doing a great job at making things messy. All in favor of them. That's the damage. That's the range that we were talking about. Sini. There's a trade in damage there.
Wow.
Ramichi. Uh-oh, Fumi Echo goes down. 2 members from TL are off the back.
Wow.
But again, a successful defense for TL. Team Vitality can't close.
How did they do it a second time? Even with a lead that Team Vitality had, Team Liquid makes it happen. And again, a big part of it was the distraction that Soju bought in that mid lane. Vivian?
Uh-oh, she's gonna go down here.
She's fine. She's got the heavy spin, but luckily enough, she has an immortality too. I almost thought that would get popped, but it doesn't. But right now, the mid lane is going to be the focus for TLPH. They're looking to at least get their first turret of the game. You know, 13, almost 14 minutes in, they don't have one turret down. They have to get something to be able to move around the map, and that's what Ramichi has been doing for the past 5 minutes. She's the one trying to get these turrets down, but unfortunately for Team Liquid, they have not found one, and so Team Vitality still holding on, essentially the same lead. Oh, Ramichi gonna be forced once again. This is such good macro control from Team Vitality.
Yeah, they're experienced, right? They're experienced with these kinds of plays, but the fact that TL have come this far with absolutely no inhibitor turrets,
Is
it also
impressive.
goes to show how crazy they are, right? That mental fortitude that we were concerned about for TL being quote-unquote newcomers to MWI is definitely not showing. They're remaining resilient here in this first game, despite the 6,200 gold lead that Team Vitality has been able to pick up.
I'm really curious now, Eterna, like what is, out of all the games that Team Vitality has played here, what is the longest game that they've played? I mean, we know that some of their fastest games at one point were the record, which was eventually broken. They had about a 9:37 game time. Finally, some turrets are going to be going down here, though, too. So these are the baby steps in the right direction that Team Liquid has to make. It's more so, it's starting to be a trot. They're trying to get to the trample at this point, but right now, it's going to be another objective, another Lord in the hands of Team Vitality, unless...
Uh-oh. Heavy spin already utilized. Vival still gets the Lord here. Sense of Blade's not going to be enough to actually take that neutral objective down, but she will fall here. Ramichi, the first one from TLID to be taken down. The damage output coming in from Team Vitality is still there. So Soju, second there. Fumi misses it, but look at Vival going to the back line and taking it in. Triple kill in for Shell. Wind of Nature utilized as well. Kla gonna try to survive this, but she doesn't. 4 members from TL are down, and that is a wiped out to close out game number 1 for the powerhouse of Indonesia.
Man, I felt it in the words there at the end there, Eterna. What a game number 1. Still, big props to Team Liquid to be able to defend the way that they did, but unfortunately for them, it just got dragged out a little bit too long. They weren't able to get in a position where they could actually contest. If only, I could only assaulting the base of Team Vitality. But let's throw it over to the studio to think what they thought about game 1.
First of all, shout out to Eterna. See, you can do it. See, that was good. That was good.
That was good.
Speaking of good, I honestly thought Vitality could have ended it much sooner, but then Team Liquid were able to hold it out. And I agree with Naisu. If somehow they got that Lord, could have looked different.
Agree, definitely. I think that there was a lot of resistance coming in from Team Liquid Philippines itself. Twice they were able to actually hold out their base well, and if there was a steal coming in from them, it could have turned things around for them.
Yep. The way that they were able to do all this, even despite Ramisi struggling to actually keep up in terms of farm against Vival, was definitely something for Team Liquid. And I think majority of the work was done by Cla. Like it was her positioning, it was her consistent use of the passive, and the way she just keeps herself alive.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's the awkwardness with Bruno. We all know that it's pretty good hero. Early game is great, but unless you win by a lot, your trajectory of power is very awkward. It's not all the way up. There's a dip going down, going back up, going down, going back up. So yeah, honestly, Cla did her very best, just that maybe just not enough time.
Yeah, that's true. And then the fact that Ramichi doesn't have any even freedom of movement right on her own path, and this is where the fine line is. Like no matter how much you have Daiki as well as Soju trying to zone things out, yet no matter what, Team Vitality, they just have a better advantage on their own drafting.
Yeah, the Ling came in with Ramisi aware of the threats, so they really took on that risk. And Lancelot was the last pick either way. So regardless of whatever jungler that they went with, she already knew that there could be an Akai threat, an Arlot threat. And what's sad is that even during the latter portions of the game, after a successful defense, whenever she tries to attempt go for Chell, and even Sengit, it just doesn't work. They hurt so much.
Something to look at that draft is that they don't actually have a very easy way to consistently engage, right? Because they have layering with the Zetian, with the Phobius, but you kind of have to make sure that everything goes right.
Agree, definitely. I think one thing that we should note on Team Liquid, their main objective or how they want to put out for this fight itself is, again, they want to counter-attack. They want to have that mobility to get in and get out as quickly as possible. But then again, Team Vitality said, no, we're not going to let you out at all.
Yeah, and if it's just mobility we're talking about, they have a Lancelot in their lineup. So I think even during that last sequence where they tried to contest for that Lord, we saw how desperate Team Liquid tried to escape, but the Lancelot denied them of that escape.
Yeah, looking at the itemization for the Lancelot as well, having the Brute Force as well as the Queen's Wings, even if somehow Vival makes a mistake, she's able to get out of there, no problem. You know, having two tanky items make it so that there's a lot of outplay potential. Personally, for me, I kind of feel like she doesn't even need it, right? Because the way that she goes in and out of fight, there's no one to really punish the Lancelot.
And is it? I don't know, like, there was an early Rapid Boots pickup from Vivian as well, so this is like one of those games wherein the Akai just felt terrifying. I know we haven't seen much.
Hey, today I'm convinced.
All right.
Looking at GG, looking at Vitality, I'm like, you know, I see it. I see it.
I mean, I think pretty much during Rima's talk about how Akai, he keeps on saying that that's my favorite panda right there. And then we keep on seeing Akai being popped up again on MWI. And this shows how Akai is very prominent right here for our meta for MWI itself.
Got a dash, pretty strong damage with the second skill. Tankiness is okay, but here's the thing. What do you really feel like Team Liquid has to adjust going into the second game? Because is it really the draft, or is there something more there, Brigida?
I think it's something more in-game. Because Team Liquid, it's not the first time we saw them behind, but in the past few games where we saw them behind, they could still manage the macro. We didn't see that in this game.
I think pretty much they kind of lost a little bit, or probably they kind of like, not to say forgot, or probably they just lost touch of what we're going to do now, what we're supposed to do. Even with the split push, they keep on depending more a little bit of the help from the Ramichi, but then it didn't work out. And then at the end, they're like just clueless of what to do.
I mean, if we're thinking about how to deal with Team Vitality, I think the best people to know were their previous opponents. So now we actually prepared a video about everyone else that has already fought against Vitality.
This is the winner from Battle of Famous. Please welcome Tempat. champion!
I think Team Vitality is definitely one of the strongest team here. So if we were to meet them, they would be a very difficult opponent to beat.
I think they are very prepared and they want to get back their title.
I think tempat is really strong team in MWI. I think they're gonna really good play style and their maganda is so good.
I think they will have a good match, not an easy match, and they are competitive and we are eager to win.
The enemies ahead are those that we didn't expect, right? But yeah, we always respect them and just do our best in every match. So let's see how the game goes.
Gonna be targeted down, no immortality! The queens of MLBB have fallen!
Can they rewrite history? They couldn't do it last year. This year, like we saw everyone, nothing but good things to say about them. Their micro is great. Their macro is great. Their chemistry, they've been building this for years at this point. And our grand finalists, gaming gladiators, even they say like, oh, if we fight against them, there will be a tough match. And if they win this one, that will become a reality.
Oh, that's true though. I mean, again, they have been trying to go on to get that title. Just one more title, just close enough to say that they have everything under their belt. So definitely those feeling, that ambition just rising off, this burning desire in their hearts, just trying to prove here at the MWI.
Yeah, I can actually feel how badly they want this win. To the point wherein they say that even if they don't win any other tournament, it doesn't matter to them anymore because this is the most important thing for them at this point. And you see it in the way they play and the way that after Navi PH get taken out, it just feels like they feel all the more convinced or confident that there are higher chances of them actually getting it this time around.
The crazy thing is that we can actually say that Team Vitality, they're really hungry for this win, which usually you don't say to champions because they've eaten well, they've gotten everything, but there's no one hungrier than the ones that already had their hands on that trophy and then getting swiped away. The hungriest are the ones that got second place. The one that hurt the most are the ones in second place. So now I kind of feel like as much as they've won, no one is as desperate as they are to actually get that trophy this time.
Oh, that's true. Definitely. I mean, like, this is where the fine line that the teams, the players itself will say, like, what more can I get? What more can I achieve? Because, again, even though, yeah, despite the storylines that we've been denied last year, but at the same time, it's like proving to themselves, like, I could be more than what I've done from last year, and I could be more than what I've done from the past months of this year as well.
And it seems like they're still sticking with red side for this one, Pasha. So the bans look a lot similar to the bans we saw earlier, though. It's just whether or not this is still going to be a Gatot Kacha ban for Team Vitality, because that was the other ban earlier. And we did mention it. Like, the trend in which Team Liquid followed wasn't that bad. Like, the Baksha first pick and all that, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. I mean, pretty much they had that sustain. They had someone to be on the front line to get the zoning done. The problem is just the moment when they had the last two picks, Ling as well as Bruno. Now, yes, we did talk about how Bruno was a really good pick to be fighting off with Ranger. But again, when the early stages, yes, there's a really equal. But mid-game wise, Bruno has a lot of limited things to be done.
And there goes the chain.
Oh,
because actually I didn't notice. They banned out the Baksha themselves.
Oh yeah.
So the Arlot remains open. So is the Badaang though.
Oh yeah.
Because this was the other ban earlier.
And I think they already picked up with Kimi as well by the side of Vitality.
Personally, I know a lot of junglers, and every single one of them, if they can, they would want to ban the Badaang because doesn't matter how much you nerf him at this point. People have gotten so used to how Badaang really works. It's so annoying, right? It stops you from moving forward. Even if you're trying to run away, there's a wall blocking you. So now, Team Liquid, getting the Fredrin, getting the Arle, getting the Zetian, kind of looks like they're going for more team fights. But the previous match, they didn't have enough damage. Will they have it this time?
I think pretty much right now we've seen the same combo that we've saw previously, where Alit and Fadrin, one of the best combos as well. Zetian as well, we have the CC. Fury of the Phoenix definitely can have that stun movement to the side of Vitality. That could be one of the things that was missing out from the draft that Team Liquid needed previously. And now coming off to Team Vitality, they don't really care. They're pretty much like in the definite division, they will punish or probably prioritize on burst damage and their own sustain, as well as their own setup for right now.
I was a bit nervous of whether or not Team Liquid would replicate Team Vitality's job earlier with the Kai instead of the Fredrin, but it seems like they're just playing it a bit more safe. But it's such a great response to see the CC coming in from Team Vitality.
Yeah, my problem is that Team Liquid is putting up a good defense, but everything that Vitality has punishes front lines like crazy.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And,
Yeah, it is.
And I'm so worried about how is this gonna pan out in terms of the macro if ever they're forced again to defend, to play from behind, because if they're drafting a lineup that relies purely on team fight, how confident are they that they're gonna win against Team Vitality in terms of team fight?
This is the thing. Team Liquid, they're not to say like it's a tunnel vision for them, but I do feel as if they're just holding out to say like, we want defense. We want to make sure that no matter what, if you attack us, we have that counter attack. But again, if that counter attack does not succeed, Vitality is just going to punish you over and over again.
Personally, for me, if only this Zetian was a Farsa. I understand the Farsa was banned and they themselves banned it out, but I kind of feel like Farsa is unique in the sense that level 4, you already have a big burst. You don't really rely on anything else. Maybe just the arcane boots for the extra penetration, but Zetian has damage, sure, but not Farsa level of damage. So I'm really concerned if that in the early game they couldn't do it. Unless they're able to get a fast roaming gold laner, kind of like a Granger, then maybe the story could be different.
Although the first one picking after the banning phase is Team Vitality.
It's Vitality, yeah. So if they want, they can take it away.
Experience the youth.
And that's what happened earlier too. So which is why TLPH
And Granger gets banned. And Moskov as well. Moskov and Granger are the fastest roaming gold laners to actually join that turtle fight. So now it's denied. So I kind of feel like Team Liquid, they're being too honest, and Vitality just read it out.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
If this is team fight lineup again, or a team fight draft, then what if they go for Harris again?
I honestly would rather go for a Beatrix. Just go for ultra late game, yeah.
Oh yeah, Beatrix will be actually a good idea as well to be picked up here. But again, with Akai as a respect ban as well, we saw how it was when it comes to Vitality just dominate. And Lancelot also been banned off. I think this is again a respect ban. Needless to say that pretty much Lancelot in the hands of Vitality is very dangerous.
Yes, it's super dangerous. But whether or not this is a Granger,
banned,
really, or no, whether or not. Okay, so never mind. They already banned out the Granger. So this is Team Vitality only lacking their potential gold lane.
If they want to double down, pick out something like a carry so that Fredrin really cries.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they took
They
the
took
Harry.
Harry. You
they
did
took
talk
the
about
Harry,
it.
Because it was good for Team Liquid.
Okay, that's weird.
Oh my goodness. I did not see this coming. Cause like it feels like Team Vitality always want to go for that aggressive start, the early games, and Harriet hasn't been popping off that much in terms of like doing that. So what does
What about like Irital Angela?
Okay. I mean, there's no chance of an
Alright,
Esmeralda
Beatrix.
anyway.
Oh,
Called it, by the way.
yeah, you did.
I did just want to say.
Oh, but
yeah.
Kalea.
Oh, Kalia Beatrix is pretty strong. Right? Catching in an instant burst, that could work.
That could actually work. I think that pretty much Team Liquid has a better answer right now compared to what we see on the first draft. Yes, they have their sustain right now going in to actually get a little good setup for themselves to fight off Vitality. Team Vitality, on the other note, they will also want to counter it out with the setup they've done with Badang picking off, or probably just like try to shred it out with the Fist Break and Fist Crack as well.
Hey, maybe this Beatrix is just trying to show that she can be the female Filipino sniper.
Oh.
But Team Vitality, they have the option of getting a dive or a jungler that can dive the backlights if ever they want to. Need to consider the Kalea though, if ever you are gonna.
I was thinking of the export. It's like, hey, why not just double down?
Oh my.
Let the Fredrin have an awful day. Like, he had a day where he got coffee and then it spilled on his pants. He got a burger and then everything just falls out. Thank you very much, Brigida, as well as Fasha Bunny. I'm gonna be throwing it over to Naisu as well as Eterna. And I don't know, man. I kind of feel like this Fredrin will not have a good time. What do you guys think? Do you guys think he can survive or nah?
I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, he will have a good time, you know, and maybe this lineup from TLPH will be good enough. And I like that you mentioned that, LaFell. Maybe this is the chance for Cloud to become the Filipina sniper on this Beatrix. So, Turno, what do you think of the drafts here as we jump into the Land of Dawn?
The drafts are good for
They're
TL.
hot.
They're hot because of the export. But I get the reasoning behind this export, right? You're going against the Fredrin into the jungle, so if ever you want to contest for neutral objectives early, that is a possibility that is up on the table. But it depends. I guess mid-tier rotations are also going to be a big factor as to how the early game will go.
Yeah, one thing about this too is, I know we'll get a glimpse at it in just a bit with all the emblems, but for the Kalea this time around in this game, Soju went with the focusing mark, so that is going to help some of that initial damage burst that can come out as we get a glimpse of it. As I said, so you still run with that tanky emblem, you need that tenacity, the firmness, because Kalea is still that initiator for the team here to set things up. Oh, Vivian?
Yeah, caught really low here. That's a flicker, but she still will be able to survive.
I know the crowd's feeling that one. That was close, right? That was almost a first blood already, and that focusing mark will really help that. So I almost expect Team Liquid to be in a position to get a first blood, but Daiki's in trouble.
Oh, that's the range, and that's the oppressive force that the Kimmy in the mid lane can actually offer. So looking at her emblems earlier on, she also went for Mystery Shop alongside Shell on the Harriet. So they're looking to find that snowball early on. Vival already very oppressive here in the mid lane. That's an immobilized, caught through, but Flicker will be able to get her out of that sticky situation. Should be A-okay for now.
A lot of the battle spells being used here to burn through. This is kind of what we see, you know, this is kind of what we expect for a lot of the early game potential to get the battle spells out before the first objective, being that turtle. So as the level 4s are coming online as well, that's going to be a big thing, but it'll be Vival that starts up the first turtle of the game, but just around the corner, Romichi's there. So this is the standoff that we're used to seeing with utility junglers. Who's going to be able to go ahead and secure the space around this. Vivian doesn't have the flicker either. Obviously, she doesn't have the ultimate that we usually see from Badang elsewhere. So they back off of it, at least for now. They're going to go get the buffs. And this is the main thing with with both the lineups. They need those level 4s. They need some of those crucial, valuable ultimates to be.
Zaishi's gonna get caught. Oh, that's a final slash hit coming from Daiki. Vivian gets out alive, but Zaishi will still fall. That's the damage output coming through. Ramichi goes very aggressively. That's a Purify utilized, but in the back line, Soju goes down, and Daiki gets caught here. The next one to fall, 2 members, double kill. Another pick off onto Soju. A 3-4-1 trade, and Team Vitality win the utility.
A big trade. That was a fight I wasn't expecting to be that many bodies flying around this early on to the first turtle. Vival went down, but the rest of the team will go ahead and secure the objective. So Turtle secured, but a healthy elite now already because of those multiple kills that they got. And you know, you saw how, unfortunately, as we'll look at the instant replay here, this was all started up with a great final slash, but Vivian gets away. You get trapped in a choke point that you don't want to be in. Cindy's just here, you know, hanging out. She pops the Attraction Pulse earlier on, but she gets out with a Purify and the last Insanity. This is always kind of the value of an export. You get that true damage, and it's really kind of devastating in those certain parts of the map, so those parts of the jungle here. So it's a great team fight from Team Vitality, and Team Liquid will have to go ahead and readjust after that. Maybe look for a pick off if they can with the Kalea now that Soju's level 4.
That's a big turning point that we're going to be waiting on, and usually the Beatrix get to the power spike a lot earlier as well, and considering that she is in a lane against the Harith, that should come much, much quicker. So we're looking at the counterplay from TL, whether or not it's going to hit. And reflecting back onto the neutral objective take earlier on as well, that's the beauty of the last Insanity, right?
Yeah.
You're untargeted. There are moments where you can utilize that to your advantage to get the retribution down, or even look for that final boom of damage onto the opposing team.
That's basically what it is, you know, and like I said, that true damage is pretty devastating in some of these fights that are closer together, because you know with a Kalea on your side and a Fredrin, you're going to be forced to, in a way, be clumped around them because of their kits and the way that works, especially with a Fredrin trying to get these energy eruptions off. And, you know, earlier on, Ramichi was able to get a kill, but the main job here is for her to contest these objectives that come through. Second turtle is just about to come up, and maybe Team Liquid...
Oh, that's a flicker! Tsunami Slam!
Ooh.
And there it is, the collapse in damage. Shell goes in, but that's Soju going to be taken down.
Oh!
That's the last Insanity, putting in some damage. Vival gets countered as well, but Daiki's going to be able to take Vival. 3 for 2 so far. Daiki, the next one to get crossed down. Zaichi barely escapes, and she still is able to get that flicker, and she survives.
Oh, she's gonna go for it, Cine. She's so close to going down, both of them, but she'll clear the wave out. I'm not sure if she's actually gonna try to delay this. I think she just goes for the turret, but what a team fight again for Team Vitality. It was the same thing, but this time it was Team Liquid that started that fight with Soju, but then they lost the overall team fight because of how devastating that last Insanity is. Let's look at the instant replay. They fight this, they go for it, and they threw everything at Vivian. Unfortunately, they didn't have any firepower left once the fight broke out, and they were clumped up together for Vival. The rest of the team could come through, and then City just on the backside, kind of unleashing. And, oh no, still?
Already, another team fight that's happening. Gla goes down. This is interesting. Soju as well. I wasn't expecting another team fight to break, considering TL just lost the earlier one, but it looks like they still went for it.
They went for it. It looks like they got the turtle at least, because it's 1 for 1 for the turtles, but that was a fight that they didn't need to lose, because this gold lead is just continuing to build up for Team Vitality. Just like we saw in the previous game, they'll take this lead, you know, at the almost the 7-minute mark. They're taking the tier 2 turret down. They already put enough pressure here in the mid lane as well. And TLPH will have to go ahead and try to find a massive adjustment, because all a part of this too, you're falling behind in the jungle, you're losing your buffs. And so who's supposed to do it? I think that's a big question for Team Liquid and the fans out there, is really, if you see it, Soju is trying to start those fights, but even if you pick off Vivian, you gotta have enough to get the rest of the team here from Team Vitality. A brute force is picked up by Fumieko. She's been doing a phenomenal job at jumping into the back line or just providing coverage, and we've seen CC work out so well for so many compositions for MWI so far.
There's a lot of counter engage, and I think that's one of the glaring problems right now for TL. The fact that, oh, wait a second, Shell goes very aggressively under turret, actually allowing Vivian to take all that damage from the turret. She still gets out alive. There's the immortality too, and it's not over. Daiki trying to prevent that. That's a final slash onto Fumieko, but it looks like TL will not be able to save the turret. That damage from Fumi as well. Very apparent. Soju looks for that Tsunami Slime, and there it is. The taunt comes through, but remember, Vival still has that last Insanity. A complete turnaround for Team Vitality, as they are the ones instead to get that pick onto Soju.
What's happening here in a lot of these team fights as Fumieko runs away after doing some damage to that base turret is just the timing of Team Vitality, the way that they're peeling for each other or initiating these fights. And even responding, once again, to Soju. Soju on the Kalea has not been able to find many windows for them to find a kill. And if they do, like I said, they just kind of run out of firepower right now. This Lord is going to go in the hands of Team Vitality. Just like we saw in Game 1, Team Liquid might have to go ahead and rely on their base defense potential. And if we look at it, you know, are they where they need to be? In terms of firepower for Claw, I feel like this is the same thing we saw from Game 1 on the Bruno. Unfortunately, it just wasn't that timing yet. She picks up a Malefic Gun. She's got some range now. But can they manage this push in from Team Vitality?
And despite the concerns that the panel also shared as well, wait a second.
Vivian.
What? Does a big Soju? Okay, Immortality is still there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. That's a fist crack and break over, and that's the collapse coming from Team Vitality. The taunt goes through, but it looks like Fumi Echo is going to be taken down. Not just Tinchi, City goes in with at the back line and puts on some damage onto Zaishi, and that's the trade. That's the turnaround. Daiki, the next one to fall. Untargetable, Vival goes in and zones the rest of the members of TL away. Things are not going according to plan, and this is the push. In return, in the top side, already taken down. The next one is the mid base. Shell already has the damage. That's the Holy Crystal. Claw, take it to half health. I don't think they're going to be able to survive. I think this is going to be the end. Game number 2 secured clean by Team Vitality.
Game 2 looking a whole lot like game 1, but a little bit faster this time. And man, did that Hereth look good from Shell, able to end the game off of that. Again, it was a setup with a Tsunami Slam started by Team Liquid Philippines. And it looked like for a moment, that would have been their fight. That would have been their skirmish to slowly turn things around. But unfortunately for them, it was all part of the plan from Team Vitality. So again, let's go ahead and throw it over to the studio to break down game number 2.
Hello. Oh, I think I'm on. All right, so here's the thing. I don't know if this is a hot take. I feel like the game ended before it began.
The moment you saw the export.
Honestly, the moment I saw the first 3 picks from Vitality, I'm like, this ain't a good Fredrin game. Howdy, partner. That guy ain't gonna have a good time. And he did not. Like, look at that.
How could you even... There were so many problems. I think we have an endless list to talk about in the draft. And it pretty much showed up in the game itself. And for me, I feel like one of the biggest contributors to how this panned out was the fact that usually if you see an export, you find a way to deal with it in terms of your burst damage heroes. But they were lacking in terms of that.
And the fact that we keep on talking about, you gotta actually make sure that at least Last Insanity has already been thrown out or been used already, but then they didn't wait it out, and then at the moment when they were trying to catch out, that's when Vival was saying that, oh, you've already done all your utilities or you've already done our setup, now it's time for me to come up forth and take you guys down.
Honestly, looking at the draft here, you guys can notice is that their damage profile doesn't help their draft and doesn't counter the enemy draft. So there's a lot of mismatch here when we're talking about heroes.
Yeah, and it's sad to think that most of their attempts felt a little desperate. It seems like they were going after Vivian, they were going after Vival, 2 of the least best options most of the time if you look at the entire lineup of Team Vitality. But then, how could you use it on Shell? She has to Purify too and all that.
Oh yeah, and the fact is, the moment when you've already done all your skills-wise, Fumieku just come in with a curtain call and literally wraps around you, and you couldn't even go out of your own zone. And if you want to move away, you ended up just being in the favor of Team Vitality.
It really feels like they have a lot of setup, but no payoff. It's like trying to make a sandwich with just bread. Nothing in between.
It's so hard for Team Liquid. I mean, even looking at the gold, by the time that game ended, Cloud was way too behind. And that's another thing. They were always able to find Gla in the team fights, which broke out. I mean, it's good for Team Liquid that they're able to coordinate, that they fight together. It seems like most of the fights, they were complete. Before they started the fights, they made sure Cloud was there. But that just put her in danger, and I feel like it contributed to the way Team Liquid greatly lost this game early on.
Oh, there was a lot of things that need to be said from Team Liquid itself, because again, they're just playing into the hands of Team Vitality, how they actually go out of their way. Probably pretty much, again, we've talked about how the draft wise, right? Probably the things that Team Liquid Philippine has to do is that what are the main objectives they want to go in? The counterattacks, is it with it or is it not with it, to a point that they pretty much look at a little bit blindsided to what they can actually go up against Team Vitality?
It's just that hopefully the reset does come in.
Yeah.
Because I think the strategy that Team Liquid did from Game 1 and Game 2 was already a change. Like, they tried to switch things up already. But even that wasn't enough. Or wasn't Team Vitality just prepared for anything that can come out?
I don't know. Personally, for me, looking at the draft, it looks like they want to put all their eggs in the club basket. But that egg takes a while to mature. And like I say, if the draft had a Farsa, it could have looked different, right? Because with the draft that they had, with Zetian, with the Fredrin, as well as the Kalia, it kind of looked like you want to prolong team fight. But do you want to prolong team fight against the next board?
Actually,
right?
Now that you mention it, because even if they left the Farsa open and went for a different ban, yes, they had the Fredrin. I think they were planning to go for the Fredrin draft, but they had the Zetian trade. So it was still out there. And we don't see that happen. Like the Farsa-Zetian matchup rarely happens right now in MWI.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. Has damage, but not the right kind of damage. And now it looks like Rose is talking to someone named Atlas. So let's see what Rose has to say with Atlas.
Hey guys, welcome back to Reporter Hits. This is Rose, and I was bored over at our studio, so I decided to walk around the boulevard, and I made a new friend over at the League of Legends studios. So to all of our MLBB fans, say hi to Atlas from League of Legends.
Hi, I'm here at the League of Legends Stadium. We have a quarterfinal going on right now between FlyQuest and Gen G, and we just concluded our defending title holders T1 holding on to their position, moving on to the semifinal.
Now that is very interesting. So Atlas, for the side of Mobile Legends, quite a bit of stuff has been happening, a lot of upsets, a lot of plot twists. For the side of League of Legends, is there anything interesting that maybe we should know?
Oh, there is one that comes to mind. It was our quarterfinal yesterday. G2 taking on BLG. BLG 3-0'd them at MSI. It wasn't even close, but this time around, G2 managed to get the comeback victory, 2-1, and they're waiting in the semifinals. Absolutely crazy.
Oh, that is crazy. That feels like a revenge match. And I'm pretty sure that was amazing to watch and to cast.
It certainly was.
Okay, now one last thing. I won't hold you back for too long, Atlas, but maybe you could give us a prediction on who you think will be making it to the grand finals.
All right, so I think it's definitely Gen G. They have looked so incredibly dominant over in the LCK, and being our MSI champions as well is making them a bit of a shoo-in. But then there's Anyone's Legend or our defending title holders in T1, and I think we have to make it the fairy tale. MSI rematch, T1 versus Gen G.
And there you guys have it from Atlas. T1 versus Gen G is his predictions for the grand finale of League of Legends. Thank you very much, Atlas. You're welcome. I'm sorry for disturbing you.
No, that's fine.
But with that, let us throw it back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Rose and Atlas. G2 making it to the semifinals. That's insane, you know. Shout outs to G2. And now we got to break down a little bit more about what happened in the previous game, where we have a clip where we're gonna show kind of the reason why they just couldn't do anything.
I mean, I think pretty much we saw from the last fight, this is where the fine line that what happened or what was the reason, the failure of the draft itself. If you actually had a really good setup, start out from the last fight itself, this is where the fine line, okay, they actually try to steal away the players itself, right? But then after the setup itself, it didn't work out for that long. Okay, let's take a look on the side right here. If you guys can see, yep, they steal away Vivian first of all, but then the moment when Fumieko was been zoning out, immediately shutting down, but then again, this is it. They had no much damage to actually burst up. Fumieko managed to move away, and this is where Shell comes in, Cindy comes through, and then all things just falter in, because this is where they put out the traction pulse. We can continue on the clips. Traction pulse comes in, the dash, Chrono Dash as well, Zaman Force. Everything just faltered for Team Liquid Philippines, because at the end of it all, they couldn't end the game or even the team fight itself.
Yeah, and even the small or minor, I'd say for some minor stuff, which also were or served as a factor as to how they lost that fight. Even the vengeance, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, if there wasn't any vengeance at that moment, they could have probably taken one member down. But when you think of it, even if they did take her out,
yeah,
like, I don't think Team Vitality would have held back. I don't think they would have backed off.
Yeah.
I think they would have still went for the fight, considering that they used so much resources just
true.
to take that one member down.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was a small thing, but winning is all about doing those small things correctly.
Yeah.
Right? So I kind of feel like thank you very much for showing that clip. It does show that even with a very good setup, without the right damage, it kind of doesn't matter. So honestly, in that match, it does look like a rock, paper, scissors kind of fight where I would say that Team Liquid had a scissor, but Vitality is just that rock. Like no matter how you try to cut it, it doesn't get taken down.
It's not gonna budge. This is a tricky situation for Team Liquid. I feel like they've shown two very different kind of approach, two different kinds of approaches to the game, but neither worked out just yet. And for Team Vitality, it's just been that very consistent and decisive manner of play. And if you look at them right now, like it's just that they're just so confident.
They look like they're thinking about dinner.
They're just that much ahead.
This is like a normal day for them, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, we're just gonna continue on, have a fight, and then have a blast, and then carry on with our life as well.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
They're one win away from going to the grand finals. And let me just say, winning this one makes it so that at minimum, they get 90,000 US dollars. That's how big this matchup is. Meaning to say, if you win this and then you lose tomorrow, at least 90,000 US dollars. So life-changing money. And I hope Team Liquid realizes this, because winning this is going to be huge. If they're going to do a reverse sweep, every match is a best of one now. And now we're jumping straight into the draft. Vitality is going to be the first pick. Team Liquid is second pick. Instantly banning out the Gatsukacha as well as the Yisin Shin. And Liquid banning out the Boxy as well as the Uranus.
I think pretty much.
Uranus.
There were so many versions of that.
Hey, I'm practicing, man. I want to know which one is the right one. Uranus.
So anyway, I think pretty much this is the not to say respect ban, more to say like the priority ban itself, because we don't want to have Baxia on the line. I mean, even though despite that, yes, Team Liquid did pick up Baxia and it didn't work out to their favor on their zoning, but Gatsukacha still hasn't made their appearance here for our semifinals, and this shows how much that if any Gatsukacha been picked out or been given to either side of them, it might give a little bit of chaotic for the CC itself. And YSS also been priority ban as well. We haven't seen that so far, because when it comes to MWI, if anybody picks up YSS, it is going to be a hazard area.
Yeah, it's almost like a guaranteed win, right?
Yeah.
If ever you do get that and you complement it so well with your other heroes in the draft. But one thing I'm really looking at so far in terms of the bans is the fact that neither the Farsa
Your team is
taken out just yet.
There you go.
Just as I thought it finally will be.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? We can't have nice things.
We
can't have nice things.
But that means that Kimi is still open though, and we see how Vitality is. When it comes to the Kimi pushing on the side of City itself, she was doing phenomenal. The burst damage that was needed, no matter how much traction pulse. I think the moment they counter-attack Team Liquid Philippine, every setup they made, they were able to actually come through, and those are the things that backfired for Team Liquid Philippine itself.
Let me just say my opinion as a host. If your opponent has the Kimi, pick up the Lancelot, pick up the Hayabusa. If you take a tank, you're just gonna take it.
Yeah, actually, that was the one thing that I was actually questioning. The draft-wise, they could have actually picked up the Hayabusa, but they didn't, which is why Hayabusa was not even into consideration, because I think that Team Liquid, the past of the game itself, they have been using Hayabusa. Probably not in their signature pairs or comfortable zone itself, but then again, it's still a really good conservable option for themselves if they want to actually pick it up, right?
Or maybe it's just that they already had this idea that they were really going for the Fredrin comp, and so they want to stick with that and not react so much. I feel like if you become too reactive, then that's going to be a problem as well. But this is new for Team Liquid. If they used to always save class hero for the second phase of the draft, now they decided to switch it up. No, they have to secure her hero right now.
Oh, okay. Padang been picked up, and then we do see Forvis. Again, I think pretty much we did saw Forvis already been picked up earlier on, and Moskov. Right? Yeah, exactly. So I think, again, Team Liquid Philippines is playing a little bit too safe, or not to say too honest, but direct too much, to a point that they say, like, no matter what, we're going to pick our comfort zone. This is our comfort zone.
And also, they didn't pick up the likes of the Kimi just yet. I feel like it's not going to be prioritized here. But what I like is that they balance it out with at least the Phobius to make Team Vitality think twice about what options they want to go for, because they'll have an answer to those heroes with lots of dashes. But just as I mentioned that as well, they picked up the Selena, which has a lot of dashes.
A lot of dashes.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care, especially trying to actually catch up with the Brazil arrow. That's also one thing that we do see from Team Vitality as well. So Team Liquid, Lafel, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm just seeing Vitality having so much burst right now.
Yeah.
Like, we thought the game ended pretty fast before. They could end it much faster right now because they have a lot of lockdown as well as burst. Picking up the Jushin, honestly, I think is actually quite good. Making sure that you win the mid so you don't give a lot of vision for the Selena or the Batang. But this is the point where I feel like Vitality is asking Team Liquid a question. Which do you really want to go for? Utility jungle or assassin jungle? Because at this point, it's a very good first 3 picks for Vitality, because even though in terms of the lanes, it's pretty clear where they're going, but the draft is still very much flexible just because your jungle can go either way.
Yeah, honestly, it's like Team Vitality, they can play this early game in whichever way they want to so far, but I'm considering that Team Liquid might also have that option up, or as of now, for now, because if they already have the Moskov, then at least they have a surefire way to manage the lanes, and the Jushin can also be a great asset in terms of if ever they want to go for the team fight comp.
Yeah, I think pretty much right now Team Liquid realizes that they need mobility-wise. This is the things that are a little bit of lacking on their own draft itself, because movement-wise, they cannot go into the team fight as quickly as possible, or even away from the team fight as quickly as possible. So and not only that, most of the time they keep on focusing on a lot of the sustainability, but damage-wise was not there. So good-wise coming in from Team Liquid, but on the banning-wise now, Akai been taken out and Lancelot also been put on a priority ban. It's also a really good high note from both sides of teams.
I'm starting to think about what the jungler matchup is gonna look like, because Team Liquid are banning out the likes of the Akai. They also took out the Baksha earlier on, so it's only in terms of the utilities, the Fredrins, that are remaining.
Personally, for me, I kind of feel like for Liquid, this is going to be quite risky. Still consider picking up some kind of backline diver in the jungle, but also maybe consider some kind of heal. You know, like a Matilda, Florian, and Angela, because in terms of going up against burst, if you're able to heal from that burst, then you're able to survive. But that does open up for Vitality just to pick up an assassin and then actually go for your healer.
What if could Team Liquid be considering the Fanny in this
I
game?
hope not, because Fanny's really bad, especially going up against a Batang.
Yeah, but like the bans and...
Like, it's indicating that.
Yeah, but...
I don't know, like, I don't play a lot of Fanny, but like a few cables mid and I'm already out of energy.
Yeah.
It's a bit annoying. And as I was talking about healers, they're thinking of the same thing. They ban out the Matilda, and Matilda's the best one.
Yeah, there's still the Minotaur. It is kind of similar, although it might not have that much of a great time because there's
going up against a Batang is gonna hurt.
It's gonna have such a difficult time.
But I still think that there's a possibility that Hayabusa is going to be picked up here, because again, we've seen so far that Team Liquid has won one of the games with Navi MY with Hayabusa on the drafting as well. Those are the adaptation that we've seen, even though they lost on the first match, and the moment they picked up Hayabusa, and then they even had a really good motion, but Kali have been prioritized again to be picked up again, and now Vitality.
I kind of don't like it just because if you catch someone, where's the damage? Jushin isn't burst. Moskov isn't burst. Heck, Moskov needs 4 items. Like whatever their jungler is, has to be able to one-tap someone.
I might have seen a lot more Khalid Jushin games than Kalea Jushin games.
Yeah,
In the mid lane. So this is an odd pairing for Team Liquid.
Because it's the same as the previous match where you guys showed the clip. A lot of control, but no damage. A lot of setup with no payoff.
This is going to be a problem for them. But at least they have a chance of... Oh no! The Esmeralda makes this worse.
It makes it quite difficult, yeah.
Because the Kalea, the Jushin, these are all shield generating heroes. Even the Phobius, even the matchup in the EXP lane itself.
Oh, this is gonna be rough for Team Liquid itself. I mean, again, draft-wise coming on from Team Vitality, it shows a lot of core strength as well as pretty much covering every single ground, right? They have their frontliners, they have their backlines covered up as well. No worries about what is set up. But again, like I told you, definitely Hayabusa will pick up. But the question is it gonna be enough though with having Hayabusa?
Well, thank you very much, panelists, Brigida as well as Fasha Bunny. Very interesting draft coming in. I want to see how Team Liquid really pilots this one. So now we're going to throw it over to Eterna as well as Naisu, where possibly it could be the final game of the day.
Thank you so much once again to the panel for breaking down the drafts here. I'm Naisu, and this is Eterna with me to bring you the action for game number 3. Right now, it's match point for Team Vitality, a place up in the Grand Finals. Once again, for against Gaming Gladiators. Eterna, we shared some of our thoughts here for the draft. What do you think? Are you leaning towards Team Vitality completely here?
In this particular situation, yes. Right, it looks like the winning lanes aren't as apparent for TL in this particular situation, and that might be a problem because even looking at the mid trio, maybe they have a fighting chance with the Jushin and the Kalea, but I agree with the sentiment that Lafel shared earlier on, right? That's a lot of catch, but there's no burst damage to follow it up.
Maybe the burst damage was this last pick here, the Hayabusa. We've seen it earlier today in the hands of Nicolette from GG, and she had enough burst damage, I would say, but you definitely have to get there on the Hayabusa, and it's always the risk factor with it to, kind of weave in and out of those fights in the right way. But the biggest thing is, yeah, it's a whole lot of crowd control. Claw needs plenty of time. Lafel just mentioned this, you need like the 4 items on the Moskov to really be able to go ahead and push in some of the lanes, but maybe in a way too, this is, I don't know, would this still be Plan Z on your list? Is Moskov a Plan Z?
It can be, but remember on the far side of the map, it's the Ling, and people consider that the Ling is the far lane king, right? Because of the mobility, the Tempest of Blade damage, and just the base damage of the Ling itself will make it very difficult for Claw to control in that far lane. However, there is a difference from the previous game, and in this particular game, Team Vitality have no Purifies. So there is more opportunity to go in for that catch if TL sees fit.
I see this as, because anytime you have a Kalea on play, you want to have usually a Purify, right? But with Team Vitality going all flickers essentially, and yeah, the sprint, I think that's just confidence. And after game 1 and game 2, that confidence is going to be apparent here. So maybe, just maybe, that's something that Team Liquid can go ahead and punish. If they can burn, for example, those flickers down early on, then it opens up that pick-off potential. Now with a Jushin kind of like sprinkled in there in the hands of Zaishi, that might be a little bit easier to pull off because like in the previous game, we had to see so many initiations from Soju to try to start up a fight, to try to get the pick off. But now, we've seen how effective the Lantern Flare and the Beacon from a Jushin can be for a lot of these teams. This first objective will be a showcase of that. Already level 4 on some of the important heroes that they have for Team Liquid. Team Vitality wants to buy a little bit more time. They'll go ahead and they don't have to pressure this up. So they'll let Team Liquid be the ones to start up the turtle. You'll see the rotate already happening here. They might be a little bit too late though. Vivian?
Oh, falling star move. Oh no, Vivo steals the turtle. Tempest of Blade's gonna be pinned down here. Ramichi goes down first, but here it is. That's the counterblade coming through. Flicker burns out as well by Vivian to get out of that situation. Another flicker, another pull. That's the Tsunami Slam taking down Fumi Echo. 1-for-1 trade, but Team Vitality pick up the turtle.
I was gonna say, there's no way that team, so at least they get something. At least that goes in the hands of the team here. And we'll see, once again, the rotations from Team Liquid are the biggest factor. when you have this Kolea to be able to rotate in and be a little decisive on the pickoffs, I think once again, as you build up, it has to be Ramichi providing the early damage, because it's not going to be Claude. Claude joined that fight, by the way. She threw that Spear of Destruction, joining that turtle fight, and they just weren't able to really pump out enough. She could be in trouble here.
3-4-1, that's a dive, that's a Tempest of Blade as well. Claw almost escapes, but unfortunately with 3 members diving down there, that's not going to be a opportunity for her to get out. And I do agree with you here. It's very interesting that here in MWI, we see a lot of the gold laners actually participate in the early game. A neutral objective takes even before they get into the power spikes.
Remember when there was a time when gold lane was just in its own world?
Yeah.
You know, like they would just stay in the lane. Maybe they'd 1v1 each other, you know, but ultimately they just did the thing, got the items they needed, and then they would join later on. But now we're seeing a lot more aggressive rotations, and I don't know, maybe that also is more exclusive here for the MWI specifically, but the meta is always changing, I feel like, even just to the slightest. So right now, we have to take a look at what Team Liquid is going to be doing. Right now, they're focusing on Fumi Echo.
Yeah, that's a lot of members really just going at it here. Fumi Echo still is able to escape with the falling Star Moon, and that's the backup play coming through from Cine as well. Vivian is in the vicinity. This is a 3v1 situation. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Tempest of Blades, Clash is sure to fall here. Another takedown as, again, neutral objective on their mind. TL will be able to control the neutral objective here for Turtle 2.
Okay, still going too. Oh, all right, Vivian. She's not going to be able to catch Ramichi, so Ramichi puts some pressure now in the mid lane. They want to focus down the turret. Fumi Echo will jump in. Vivel joining as well. They burn a flicker, though. Once again, I'm not sure if this breaks out.
Uh-oh, Shell already with the Rhapsody. You're pushing out the damage, just zoning the members of TL away.
This is tough for Claw, Eterno. I mean, she has had a difficult early game already. You know, 0-2, and there's not much she could do, honestly.
Wow.
She's got to just go ahead and stay in the lane. You see she's down 1.5k gold at this point, and for a Moskov against a Granger matchup specifically, is not where you want to be. You can see how much, even right now, Vivel is just staying on this side, making it even more difficult for Claw to go ahead and farm up, but she's got Soju here, so maybe Soju can go ahead and help them, but still, I think Vivel is mobile enough, and it's a Ling by chance that you really won't be able to convert a kill just yet unless they get the perfect setup. But I think Vivel knows this too. The rest of the team's still in the mid lane, but it will be a turret that does go down. So that's good for Team Liquid. They needed to get some space to work around the map with. Oh.
But at what cost, right? Okay, Fla's still going to be able to get out, but I don't think this is okay here. They know that they have the man advantage and they're going to take advantage of it. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, you do see that they are trying to get Shell as farmed as possible. And that's the twist with Team Vitality, right? They not are only focusing on their own winning conditions, but they're also aware of the enemy winning conditions. And one of which, wait a second, Zaishi, be careful. Viva also very aggressive into the enemy jungle, looking to steal that purple buff away. That's the arrow that connects and hits, but they're not going to go for it. But back to the point earlier on, they're aware of the winning conditions from TL, which is Kla in the later stages of the game. So they're trying their best to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Right now, too, the turtle is going to be up. Kla still farming away. She can join the fight if she wants to once that Spear Destruction is back online. But right now, the turtle is probably just going to be taken so quickly by Team Vitality that Team Liquid has no choice but just to find something else. And that something else right now is the golden XP needed for Claw. Right now, Romichi as well, like we said in the early game, this Hayabusa might have been the answer to go ahead and provide some of that damage, but so far from the shadow kills that she's shown us, she hasn't been able to really do too much. So it's a game of let us catch up, let us get to that point, but ever so Team Vitality builds up. Here we go, initiation.
Tsunami Slam, 3-4-1, she's sure to go down here. Fumi Echo, no way, no way, right? Okay, the Spear Lance is going to be able to take her down. Another push in for Kla, so that is a little bit of resources given over. Plus, she also gets that turret, but meanwhile, already some drama here in the mid lane. Daiki getting caught quite low. That's Viva already. Should be a-okay.
Oh, and meanwhile, too, jungle matchup going on. Tempest Blade's gonna be used. Michi will go ahead and try to get out of its Vivel. That actually goes down, so Team Liquid able to get something. Oh!
That's a shutdown taken. That's another pick here. Zaishi traded in. But all in all, that's actually threatened Team Vitality's early lead, right? 3,000 gold lead earlier on, shrunken down to 2,600. So in that skirmish alone, they've lost 1,000K.
There's
Sorry,
a little bit
1,000.
of 1,000K. That's what I was
That's
saying.
a
That's
lot of
quite a bit
K.
of to be a better game 3, I would say, for Team Liquid. They still have a lot of grounds to cover, but you're seeing one of the big things is for Claw to get back in that position. She shrunk the gold difference, at least between her and Shell, but Shell, she's having a free day. You know, a lot of times we see her just kind of popping off in the back line, and that's what this lineup allows her to do. So again,
Tsunami Slap, that's a flicker as well! Utilized! That's a lot of members there taken. Vivian here trying to do her best to stall the engage coming in from TL. But will it be enough? Shadow kills to the back line. Ramichi takes down Vivian. And Vival is also going to be able to take down the enemy gold laner. Vival, 2v1 situation here. The double kill goes through for Shell. That's the triple kill. Looking for the Maniac. Daiki, Cindy, don't steal it. Cindy, don't steal it. Shell, will she get it here? And that's the Maniac in for Team Vitality here in the 9th minute of the game.
And Team Vitality will have a massive fight once again in their favor, and somehow, someway, Viv will survive to tell the tale. Look at that, the instant replay. This was all set up. This is going to be a whole lot of action on different sides of the map. Shell, though, ultimately getting the space to work in a situation 1v2. A great arrow coming out from Cine, and then Vival relying on Shell to come and help her out. And look at how this happens. Of course you give over the Maniac to Shell. Once again, the connection here between Shell and Cine, and just the team from Team Vitality. The Lord was taken, that's secured. The buff's going to be taken. A whole lot, once again, for Team Vitality to go ahead and march towards the base of Team Liquid.
The sister chemistry.
The sister chemistry.
The sister chemistry, the sister buff.
They know.
Is what we're looking at here. And that's the funny thing about Team Vitality in these team fights, because you'd think face value that it's so scattered, but at the end of the day, they still work in unison.
Look at this, mid lane, oh, again, Tsunami Slam.
Uh-oh, Vivian gonna get caught here, but look at the fist crack and break come through even despite that. A 2-man down, that's a double kill in for Ramichi. 3 members actually. Vival alone here, Temps of Blaze opened up, that's Zaishi taken down. Uh-oh, the stun comes through. Vival still gonna be able to get out.
What a response. Yeah, they only lost one, but TL might have just kept him into this game, because I feel like if that whole interaction didn't happen over Michi, she's tired of her purple buff being taken. She's taking this one. She gets it too, so great response from Team Liquid. Again, this was all started by the Kalea. That's what we expect as the game continues on, is that Tsunami Slam is going to be crucial in finding a target, forcing Team Vitality to fight. But that was a split-up fight as well, and Team Vitality has been doing that a couple of times here in game number 3. So that Lord, what did it result to? The base turret up top going down. Oh, Soju? No. She's fine. Little title strike on out. She's going to be okay. They got to watch out for these arrows, though, too, because around this side of the jungle, that might be enough. That might be enough to go ahead and start up a fight, but TL buys himself more time. A buff secured here. They're a minute away from the Lord, so I would say, Eterna, they're starting to find the pieces of the puzzle that they needed so far throughout the series.
No, for sure, for sure. We're looking at the damage dealt rankings here, and obviously Cine and Shell are up top. Claw is getting there, right? 12 minutes in, we're expecting to see the Trinity come through soon, and when that hits and when that lands, that's going to be the opportunity for TL to turn this game around, where initially it was Team Vitality coded. And there it is, right? The DHS, the corrosion, Vivaldo, okay, she's fine. And as well as the Golden Staff. So she's ready. The problem is now she needs a little bit more tools to work with, and that's it, right? Tools to work with in these particular team fights, but with the Wind of Nature, she should be able to survive a little bit longer, just in case Vival looks for a cheeky play onto the back line.
That's always a big defensive item for a lot of the gold laners. You can see Shell picks it up too, so they both have the option of using that Wind of Nature to buy themselves a little bit of more time of damage against the physical damage type, especially when you have Vival on the Ling. You need that because she has been going to that back line to put pressure there. So, like you said, Eterna Claw might have just got one of the most valuable items for her in this game.
and the rest of the team's gonna have to survive this. They continue to deal with these arrows though from Cine, and that's tough to be in a position to take a Lord when you don't have control of this area. That's why Team Vitality is going to be the one to start it up. Now, what Claw can do is do this. Just send her down to the bottom line, bottom lane, push that into the turret if she can. But you can see the response already, too. That buff, that orange buff is going to be up. Vival will check it out, but it's just this standoff right now. They know they have to manage these waves. Vival will clear that bottom one out, but Claw will stay there, and she can. She can stay here for the next wave to push in. And so we have to actually see, even with Team Vitality having some of the lead they've had, how they manage having a Moskov across from them. She goes back to base, sees Vival still there. So this might be a window of opportunity for Team Liquid to try to find a win they massively need in this game 3.
All resources are up as well, right? So this is definitely the calm before the storm right now for both of these teams. And luckily enough for TL, the inhibitor turret that was taken away is on the same side as the Lord, right? So it's not going to be as difficult to control in these far lanes. That won't be naturally pushing in favor of TL.
Okay, still back to it. It's kind of crazy when you think about this. Like, the way this series has gone, this is about the closest it's been. In terms of TL being able to actually face off against an objective, this first Lord, it's Team Vitality giving that respect, and it's all because of the play of having the Moskov across from them. But this is what Team Vitality likes to do. This is how they like to play it. Take their time, slow the roll, and let Team Liquid be the one to potentially make a mistake here. So who's making her way down to? They might just go for a play. The Echo is just around the corner. They might have some information here. Again, that's the whole point of this Lord, Fumi Echo.
Oh, she shows on the map. They actually sent Fumi Echo there, but now she should be aware that there are actually 2 members in the bottom side, and that's also information if Team Vitality sees so fit, because essentially the Moskov can instantly come in to play, but the Kalea needs a little bit more time to rotate. So now Fumi actually rotates into a different area here. They actually send Vival down to clear in that lane. BOD now picks up a little bit more damage for them to work with.
Yeah, they're up to something. Team Liquid maybe trying to make a cheeky play if they can, but Team Vitality, they slowly lose any of the gold lead that they had. It's been diminished down to 700 now. This has been a great option, a great play from Team Liquid, but Vival will take that purple buff from Ramichi, so they know. They're going to go for Claw.
Yeah, they're looking for the sandwich play there. 3 members already in the bottom side of the map. That's 2v3. That's the Tsunami Slam here. Already utilized. Comes the Blades at the back line. That's a win of nature. Going to be able to let her survive for just a bit. And she goes out. But unfortunately, Viva will still be able to get her. Soju will not survive otherwise. Double kill now taken in for Team Vitality. This is a man advantage and a green light to pick up the Lord.
Team Vitality knew. I mean, Claw and Soju were down there for minutes, and they just went to make the play. They find the right marks, and that is going to lead them to getting the Lord after that entire standoff here. There's not much that Team Liquid can do. Ramichi, she could potentially go in for a steal, but that's too much of a risk, as Lord is now secured for Team Vitality, and they'll go ahead and clear things up and get ready to march in with this Lord. Team Liquid in a position to defend, though. The Malefic Gun was also recently picked up for Claw. Ramichi could get pressured out a little bit more here. Goes back with a quad shot.
Oh, what? Ramichi gets taken down even before the defense. That's a Tsunami Slam here onto 1. Vivian still has the Immortal, so she should still be able to get out of this alive. But look at the damage coming from Claw. Cine gonna be the next one to fall. That's a double kill in for Zaishi with a Sky Piercer stacks as well. And now the chase down ensues. Vival, what's the call? And the call is to go back. They're gonna be able to defend this.
Yeah, they lose 2. It's a trade, but ultimately this Lord still has to be worked on. Team Liquid will go ahead and do that. The waves are being managed here. Well, I'm not sure if they can get any more base turrets. Vival up in the defensive blades. She's going to be fine. Gets out, but ultimately we can call this Eterna a successful defense on this Lord push for Team Liquid.
Felt like Team Vitality a bit more than they could chew. Really good opening coming in from Soji, and that was one of the glaring things that I was afraid of, right? I was concerned with no Purifiers on the board for Team Vitality, that TL just needs, one moment, one pick to turn things around. So yet another Lord failing to siege the base from TL. And if we're looking at the in-game equipment, we do see a little bit more range that Kala has under her belt with the Malefic gun. And we saw that damage coming through, the pierce as well into the back line.
Yep.
Cine was taken down way before the drama happened.
I would say that's why Team Liquid is there. You know, like their potential to fight against Team Vitality is good, but it's more so the difficult part is how do we get the advantage in the fights? And a big part of that is just because they know that the back line is going to be pressured. So more than ever does Claw's mechanics have to be on point. And she can rely on some of the peel that comes with this lineup from Team Liquid, but you know, I think even for Daiki's got to catch up defensively on some of the items on this Phoveus because you saw at least in the difference between the gold and her and Fumieko, she's lacking a little bit, you know, so it looks like we're going to get a little bit of a breather here for them to go ahead and get things situated. Of course, we want to make sure that everything is settled and smooth for our players. Claw, as you're looking at her, you know, I feel like she's feeling a little bit of the pressure though, because it hasn't let up from the early game. I turned her like she felt that pressure from the first minute.
And that's what you want, right? I think a lot of the teams out there were looking for a way to punish Cloud because so far she has been the beacon in TL.
She's been the one.
She's been the one. Her performance from yesterday's matches up until this point with the triple kills, the maniac that she was also able to pick up, definitely put a spotlight on her. So Vitality in this match from Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3, they're heavily respecting that fact. So I do understand why she looks a little bit concerned. She's like, guys, let me play.
Let me play. Because you got to remember, Claw, for those that might have missed it, you know, at one point I don't know if she has the highest KDA in our matches so far from MWI, but there was one point where she was playing the Granger, she was like 16-0. So that's exactly why Team Vitality, the strategy they've had throughout the series has been to put pressure on TL's gold lane, to put pressure where they need to delay the power spike for a lot of these gold laners that are picked up. So we'll see how it plays through. Once again, jumping back into the game here, TL is in a position. This has been a longer game that I feel like this has been the distance for Team Vitality, at least so far. One of the longer ones they faced off against. So if anything can go in favor of Team Liquid Philippines, it's they've gotten to this point. They've allowed themselves to not get too out of hand in terms of a gold deficit like they have in the previous two games. And they're in a great fighting position. They only have one turret of the base down. So it's up to them how they manage this next Lord. It's coming up in a couple seconds. This is a evolved Lord, so it's going to be much harder to take just on the whim like Team Vitality has in the previous Lord takes. But you can already see the plans coming to fruition here. Team Liquid might go at a different angle, trying to go ahead and secure this if they can. I'm not sure. Do they press go on this half health? It's going to go for a reset. Claw's still up on the top side. So for Team Vitality, they're the ones to just let TLPH, if they want to overstep or maybe make a mistake, they'll respond to it.
Because technically in this Lord Dance, the pressure is on TL. Inhibitor turret taken down there on the far side, something that we did discuss in the previous Lord. So the pressure's on them, but there it is. The Tsunami Slime from TL, but Cine still is able to get out alive. Fumieko, the fist crack also goes down here. Vival in the back line to do the damage. Fumieko, but the Zaishi will taken down. Cine, the next one to fall here. Claw doing the best that she can, but that's going to be a double kill in. And this is tragedy. This is a disaster for Team Liquid. Match point, Tempest of Blades here. That's a push. Ramichi, unfortunately, will not be able to survive. Another wiped out as Team Vitality go for the final push. From the depths of despair, unable to survive in the grand finals, the Bees, the powerhouses of Indonesia, stand another fighting chance to claim what is rightfully theirs.
And they'll feel good about that Game 3 finish. When you thought there was a moment for TL to take an objective, Team Vitality said, not today. They have been dead set on getting to the grand final, getting that trophy that was so a goal of theirs last year, and it was taken from them in a sweep, and they have been on a revenge ever since then. And unfortunately for Team Liquid, they're in their way. And Team Vitality wanted to get to that grand final. They want that trophy here tomorrow.
Look at the smiles. Finally, we're getting a little bit of emotion coming from this team because every time they won their match, it's always been so stone cold, so locked in. And it's official. Up until this point, Team Vitality have not lost a single game.
A single game.
Undefeated run.
They have swept their way through MWI so far.
So far.
So far. I would say, you know, if anyone... I hate to see TL, you know, the two Filipino teams get taken out. I can't claim them, but you know, I hate to see it. But if anyone could do it, I think so far a lot of everybody that's been watching has been impressed with, of course, Team Vitality, but what waits them in the grand final. Gaming Gladiators can do an amazing thing ahead of them. So let's see if, you know, we have a phenomenal grand final tomorrow. We also have that third place match though too. So it's been a great day so far. It's me and Isu and Eternal. Let's go ahead and throw it over to the stage for our winning interview.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our second finalist. It's Team Vitality! I am joined by Vivian and Vincent on the stage. First of all, congratulations, you have made it to the finals and you will be facing off against Gaming Gladiators.
Thank you.
I want to ask you now, with the reigning champions out of the running, how confident do you feel in being in the finals and going for this trophy?
Oke. Jadi setelah berhasil tentunya selamat pertama-tama berhasil menang, berhasil masuk ke dalam grand final dan bakal bertemu Gaming Gladiator. Pertanyaan pertama tentunya di sini, seberapa pede sih kamu bisa memenangkan tentunya trofi MWI ini?
Sangat pede.
I'm just very confident. We will get it.
I like that. Very simple, very confident. And now I want to ask you, when it comes to your opponents, Gaming Gladiators, Ashley said that she wants to be the mother of tanks. What do you have to say in response to that statement?
Sepertinya dia butuh tidur. Bisa kalau dia tidur di dalam mimpinya.
Maybe in her dream.
Ooh, okay. All right, I like it. I like it. The confidence is phenomenal with yourself and your team. I mean, getting to the finals 2 times in a row. Let's see if you can make it all the way and if you can lift this trophy by the end of the finals. Now, last time you were here, you talked to us about how much it means to you to be crowned champion and to win the tournament. Now you have another shot at that. Can you tell us, what would it mean to you, your team, the organization to win MWI at EWC?
Oke, jadi tentunya di sini kamu berhasil masuk ke dalam final kedua kalinya dan semoga kamu bisa masuk ke menjadi juaranya. Tetapi untuk bisa menjadi juara MWI ini ada nggak makna yang penting tentunya buat kamu sendiri, buat tim kamu dan juga buat organisasi Vitality apabila berhasil menjadi juara MWI dari EWC 2025?
Yang paling penting bisa ngebanggain Indonesia, terus ngebanggain Priuk, terus juga mau kasih tahu ini sebagai tanda bahwa player wanita Mobile Legends terbaik itu adanya di Indonesia dan di tim Vitality.
So of course, I just want to be the pride of Indonesia, the pride of my hometown Priok, and also I want to be everyone know that Indonesia is where the best women belong.
I mean, so far you're on their way to proving exactly that. And now talk to me. How do you feel about crushing your opponent's keys?
Sorry, can you...
How do you feel about crushing your opponent's keys in a moment's time?
Jadi sekarang tentunya bagaimana perasaan Anda untuk bakal menghancurkan key dari tim lawan?
Rasanya senang banget karena tadi dia nggak boom gini ke kita.
I'm just very happy because they don't fist bump us after the game.
Oh, well, you know what? We're still going to see that key being crushed in a moment's time. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your second finalist, Team Vitality! Let's head on over back to the studio and wrap up the 4th day of MWI here at EWC.
Thank you very much, Sandstorm. And that was expected and surprising all at the same time.
Oh my goodness, it's a sweep in the semifinals done by Team Vitality, who, by the way, literally have not dropped a single game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, who was supposed to be able to actually probably dirty a little bit the record itself that has been done by Vitality, right? We expected like Team Liquid Philippines could do that, just at least not the series. Maybe not the series, maybe at least one match, two match, steal away a little bit from the team of Vitality. But nah, even this last draft itself, we were thinking like, okay, you pick the Hayabusa at the end of it all, and you expected maybe you have that diving composition from the back line, so that you can actually have that maneuver mobility-wise. But it was still not done. Yes, they did manage to actually elongate the game itself, the duration of it all, but yet it was not enough.
This is probably why it does, or like people say that their basis for whether or not a team could be a contender is if they could get a game off Team Vitality.
Yeah.
Because that's just how clean they're able to play their games. Like, they seem to have mastered it already. And that's their basis now. Like, if you get a game off them, you might just be a contender.
Agree.
Yeah, Vitality has this reputation just like SRGOG back in Malaysia, like Onyx Indonesia in Indonesia and Philippines. Hey, you guys keep changing. You know, the one at a time. It's like, you're there for one season, next season is someone else. So, you know, shout out to you guys. But this is unprecedented that Philippines is not going to the grand finals. But if you're a Team Liquid fan, they're not out. Yes, their key is going to get crushed, but they will be playing tomorrow for the third placement match against Terror Queens.
Yeah, and that's a best of 5 too, by the way. So